Hey there, okay, here's another one. Alright, this one's the bearish downside Tasuki gap. I think I pronounced that correctly. Alright, it's Tasuki, is that drink, Tasuki? Okay, anyways, moving on. Alright, the way this works, well, okay, now the Tasuki gap, or Tasuki gap, however you pronounce it, don't really appear very often, as I mentioned before in a few videos now, and this particular candle formation I'm about to show you, we start from in a downwards fashion, and then you have this like bar right here, and then what happens is you have like another one. Actually, let's do this as a downtrend color so we don't confuse everybody. Alright, and then you have this like down bar candle, and then you have this gap, alright, that comes down here. Okay, and then you have a bull candle coming in, and it's supposed to close off higher than the other previous high, but here it's also gapped up as well. Now in Forex you're not going to be seeing this pattern all the time. Alright, this is a little bit like the abandoned baby like I showed you before. You know, with the abandoned baby, this gap will then be filled and then maybe the downtrend will resume. But in this particular case, we have the same kind of abandoned baby formation, except rather than a continuation up, we should see a continuation down. So the next candle that comes in needs to be a red candle, okay, but it needs to close lower than the previous low. Well, if this previous low is down candle, at least that's what my rule, at least it should really close lower than this one. But I'd like to be extra certain and make sure that the sentiment is actually there, and to see if it actually closes lower than that one, and then hopefully we should see this keep coming down. So it's going to be hard to find some examples on the chart, but let's go ahead and take a look at the chart anyway. Alright, so this is the area that I was telling you about just a moment ago. Here is, like, for instance, here's your downtrend, and then you see the down candle. Well, this is actually it's an up candle, but in any case there's a gap there, and then it goes back up again, and the next one you want to see is to actually have one come down here, but we don't see that in this particular case. But it's best if we try to find patterns that look exactly like the one we're trying to go after, and then see if there are any patterns out there that look similar to it. Alright, now here's a perfect found one. Excellent. This is what I'm looking for. Alright, because what I was about to draw out was this. This was our downtrend initially, and when we have our down candle, and then we have like this gap down. Okay, but with the Forex you're not going to have the gap like this. You're going to have like another candle that will come out maybe like that. Okay, and then the next one will be like so. That will be your confirmation candle. Okay, and look, we're in a downwards trend. Here is that red bar that we were looking for, well, that downwards bar. Okay, because we're currently in black this time. Alright, and the black bars represent the downwards trend, and that black bar here represents this bar here. Now I know that this is a red bar that I've got my cursor over right now, and this one here is actually an upwards bar. Alright, it's like a blue candle that the representation I'm drawing. That's fine, that doesn't matter, that's fine. Alright, and then we see this one here, then this one right here. This area, let's just take some of that off. This area right here is a Tasuki, the downside Tasuki gap. Now the reason why this indicator didn't actually pick it out is because the colors are different. Alright, so, but that still counts. And I mean, look, it's a very, very powerful continuation pattern. Alright, so when you see those and you see it like do a gap and it bounce back the other way, you know, don't be too overly concerned. Alright, wait for the third candle, which will be this this one here, wait for this to finish, and then see what happens on this candle here. If this candle goes up and breaks up higher and closes up higher, then it must be likely that completed the band and baby setup. Alright, but this one actually shows it closed lower than the previous low. I would have actually preferred, you know, really for this black candle here to actually close lower than that one. I mean, that would have been my preference. Alright, but I can see that just barely. If I can take my screen drawer pen off and zoom in, put my screen like that, and then I can zoom in, so hopefully I don't lose my space. And then just take a look at the wick. Okay, alright, so the wick looks like it seems to be level with this one and this one, so the highs seem to be of equal length, so that's good. I mean, if it was higher, then I would be concerned on the next candle, because this might push up higher, but we can see that although the bears pushed it up a little bit higher here, it didn't exceed the high of the previous candle, so that's okay. Alright, okay, and this one, I believe I've seen another formation that's just come up. I'm just wondering if it's in my sequence here of videos to do. Let me just bear with me for one moment. It is actually, but we can come back to that later. What I would do is I'll actually mark that. We'll come back in a second. Alright, okay, so there was a very good example. I'm glad we actually found one to give you an idea to work from, because these are very hard to find, especially when you're trying to do some videos for people and you're trying to show an exercise, you know, that you want to try and rush through, but it kind of dwells into like a 30-minute, 40-minute video because you're still trying to look for some areas in the market. But that one worked out great. Let's see if we can actually find another one on a different currency pair this time, and this was off in the 15-minute time frame. And here's a I've just zoomed out there, but here's a similar one. I mean, here we had that abandoned baby and it come up and filled itself. Now this is the area that I was talking about, like when you see this kind of gap, you should actually see a gap pointing upwards to actually see the continuation up. Alright, now the one with the downside Tasuki gap that we was looking at, we want to make sure that those are appearing somewhere just after the top of a trend and then where the trend's starting to come down. Okay, let's see if we can, let's see where the trend's starting. It seems like we're in a very bullish trend right now. Okay, I'm not really seeing any good examples right here. There's an abandoned baby. Well, that's actually this one here. This is an up candle, but you know, sometimes you can make an allowance with the Forex. But we've got the downtrend here. Here is the first part of the Tasuki gap. Here is the second candle, and here is the third one. But the third one doesn't actually confirm. Well, the fourth one doesn't actually confirm. But it got, you know, so you know, that was a foul one by the looks of it. It's pretty close. It's similar. And yeah, so that's just, I think that's probably the last one there that I did was probably the best example that I could actually show you. Really, I'm hoping that, you know, you can make sense of that one example. I know it's nice to give you more than one example, but the charts don't really seem to be giving me one. Here's one that looks like a beginning of one right there, but that's not one though. And I don't even see any bullish upside Tasuki gaps either, so I could show you the opposite. No, I think that's all she wrote really. Alright, so okay, maybe I can show you some more examples in some other videos as we move through them. So when I do see like another video, sort of like another example, I'll show you in that video as well. And maybe through some live trading examples, we'll go through, we'll reiterate a lot of the signals as well to show you that these signals do work in a live trading environment. Alright, okay, so I'll leave you with that video for the moment. Alright, and as I say, that particular pattern that emerged there are very rare. They don't come up very often. Okay, and when they do come in, they're pretty strong continuations. Alright, that's all they basically are, continuation patterns. Alright, so I will leave you with that video for the moment, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye for now.